Before we start our demo session one, I also like to introduce I myself. I'm Praveen, who will be your instructor for the Playwright JavaScript course over here. I have over 12 years of experience in terms of software test automation. I've been working in various MNCs, various product-based organizations. I've led a couple of startups as well in the past. When I talk about the tutor experience, I have been teaching from the last 5 years on different tools and technologies, which includes Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, Rest Assured API automation, mobile automation, and so on. I have also taken more than like 30 corporate sessions till now. That means I've taught inside the organization like HCL, Cognizant, Capgemini, and few other UK, US, and Canada's organizations. So in the teaching field, I'm from the last 5 years, where I've transformed more than 8,000 students worldwide on different tools and technologies. Now, we'll come to our demo session one over here, which will be related to our Playwright JavaScript demo. Whatever you might be able to see on the screen is the agenda that we have set it for, and we'll go through in complete detail over here as well. So also, I would request you people, if you have any questions in between, you can stop me. Otherwise, just keep on mute so that like others will not get distracted. Um, just a request, just a simple request that please be on mute whenever you see or whenever you have any kind of questions. Feel free to stop me in between as well. Now for our demo one agenda that we generally set is generally I have like seen and conducted various sessions. So people used to ask whatever the people generally used to ask the questions. Depending on that, I have set the content that will be or the agenda that we'll be discussing for our demo session one. So one will be like what is Playwright? We'll talk about what is Playwright, what is the benefit, what is the advantage that we'll come to know again in the later part of our session. Uh, the benefits of joining this course, whatever we are going to start from today. Why do you want to join, and what is the benefit that you'll be getting um, after joining this course? Course content, whatever the course content that we'll be covering up over here, we'll go through again in detail. Who can enroll and any prerequisite for joining the sessions or joining the course? Why should you learn Playwright now rather than waiting for some months or a year? This is one of an important questions that has to be addressed, like why people and why organizations are moving towards learning Playwright or implementation of a Playwright. What will you learn after the course completion, course duration, course highlight, and few basic difference will go through in terms of why Playwright versus the different tools and technology that are available in the market. And then we'll approach for the Q&A. If you have any kind of doubt or questions, we'll approach over there as well. Okay, so this is basically the agenda that we have for session one, which will give you the complete understanding of what will be the course content, what all the things will be covering up over here. Plus, any kind of questions that you'll be having, I'll be happy to take it. Okay, so before we jump to these things, I hope everyone would have understood what we are going to talk in our session today. Keep it interactive. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in between, interrupt me so that I can answer you. Do not wait for like at the end that you have to ask only inside the Q&A. You can feel free to ask in between as well. Now, I would also request you people to like we'll be going through with a couple of documents that I'll be going through in our session today. So I'd request you people to share your contact number and email address so that I can forward you those documents, whatever we are discussing in our session. Okay, so that you can also have a refer it later on. Now let's go ahead and start the session that we are basically going through with the agenda over here. So I've prepared one PPT which I'll go through in this case. So this course generally is for Playwright using JavaScript. The course content that I'll be discussing over here will be consisting of like both JavaScript and TypeScript. That is where you see the title saying as Playwright, JavaScript and TypeScript. This course that we'll be going through in our session will be depending on the Playwright using JavaScript. Now, the first thing that I said earlier, like what is Playwright, right? So Playwright is one of the automation tool available in the market. There are various tools that are available in the market, which includes Cypress, Selenium, Catalan, and many other tools are available. Playwright became very famous, very popular in the market in the recent time, in the last couple of years. Playwright is a web automation as well as an API automation tool. So when we talk about a Playwright, Playwright is both for web and API automation as well. It have been developed by, or it has been developed by Microsoft and being maintained by Microsoft as well. The most important things over here for Playwright is it is an open source tool. When we talk about the open source, that means it is completely free of cost. You do not have to pay any single rupees or single any currencies to work with a Playwright or to start working on Playwright. Playwright have been developed and came into the market in the year 2020. So it's been like 4.5 years in the market right now for the Playwright, which is completely keep on growing exponentially day by day and month by month. There are a large community base are available, which became famous in the last couple of years. Why it became famous? We'll also talk about a couple of benefits that we have, and then we'll go through other part of the things. Now let's jump to the second things that we have is what is the benefit of joining this course, right? So when anyone, even when I was like in the initial stage and I want to learn something, either by self or by someone else, I used to basically get a question like, what is the benefit of like checking this course or joining this course, right? So first thing that we'll approach over here is what is the benefit of joining this course? The first benefit that you will be getting over here is 40 hours of live practical sessions this course will be consisting of, along with the recorded sessions. So if anyone by chance or by any means, like you have, let's say, missed joining the course or joining the sessions, you'll be getting a recorded session with lifetime access for whatever the course that will be going through it. Second, it will be a completely hands-on real-time project. When we talk about a complete hands-on, that means I have been basically working on Playwright from the last 3 years. Playwright is in the market from the last 4.5 years, and I have been working from the last 3 years on the Playwright. And I've also been teaching the Playwright on from the last 1.5 years. Now I have seen like what generally organizations look for, what people do in their organizations, how they evolve from starting from a basic like completely from the scratch to go and develop the enterprise level of framework by using by using Playwright. So however we will be starting inside the organization, how you will basically get the requirement, how do you have to start and so on, will be going completely from basic level over here to the complete advanced that how do you manage inside the organization. That will be a complete hands-on real-time project. When we talk about a real-time project, that means all the scenarios will be covered in the exhaustive manner, whatever we generally get in terms of the test automation. Okay, whatever we generally get in terms of a test automation, whatever I have faced, whatever others have faced inside the same organization, will be looking into all the things, not only in terms of happy path, but also what kind of exception, what kind of failure that you'll be getting by writing whatever the kind of code will be. So I'll going through with the courses, I'll also do many mistakes over there to just show you that what kind of fix that you have to make over there. Framework development will be completely from scratch. So first you will go through with the framework. You will understand a framework, which is a page object model framework over here. So you'll understand from the basic, how do we handle, what are the components that involves in generation of a framework, what do you have to consider, how do you have to build the framework, and the framework that that like whoever whatever you people will be going through in the course, whatever the framework that you will be developing will be in such a way that, let's say if you are the first person inside any of the organization, that you are starting the Playwright framework completely from basic level, you can simply copy paste the same framework, same code over there to start working on top of that. That means the framework will give you the complete basic foundation of the start, like start writing the on top of that you can extend all the test cases, all the different kinds of coding scripts that you have to write. Full JavaScript training will be again taken from a complete scratch. When we talk about the full JavaScript training, that means even if you do not have any understanding of the technical knowledge, or if you are from the non-technical background, you do not have to worry about this course content, which we'll be going through in the next 5 minutes. You will check that the course content have been developed in such a way that even a non-technical person, a freshers, a manual QA, or any type of QA that you have worked on, any tools and technology in the past, you will be able to understand completely from the basic level onwards. So here, when I talk about the basic, I mean it. So when I say like basic, I'll be going through in detail, like what is variable, why do you declare, what is the use, how will you declare, where can we utilize this, and so on. So everything in detail you will be going through over here completely from scratch. Basic API testing will also be covered over here. So when I talk about the basic, that means whenever we call any API like get, post, put, delete kind of method, uh, will again be checking. Was anyone trying to call?
Uh, yes, Praveen. I just have some queries.
Okay, so I'll just finish this off few of the lines and then I'll start taking the questions. Will that be okay?
No worries. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
no worries.
Sure. Sure. You can post all your questions if you have. You can start uh, posting your questions over here. Plus, also share your contact number plus email address. That would really be helpful for us to reach back with you the documents. So contact number is also important to give you the complete uh, list of documents, whichever is of small size, we can directly forward to the WhatsApp. So please also provide your contact number, will be helpful for us. Now, basic API testing, that means how do we use first the manual testing of API for any method like HTTP method as get, post, put, delete kind of. And then we'll also see how do we do this similar kind of test automation using Playwright as well for those API. Git, GitHub, Jenkins, GitHub Actions, Docker, and CI/CD using Jenkins will be again completely from the basic onwards over here. Completely from a basic that whenever you start working inside the organization, how do you have to use GitHub? What will be the use of? What are different commands that you will be using on a day-to-day life? And whatever will be the advanced level of command you will also be going through over here. CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, you will be learning in two ways. One, by writing a script way of running your code inside the Jenkins. And second is by also going through the UI part of the Jenkins. GitHub Actions, we'll see how do we create a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions again. Docker, we'll also see like how do we run our test case on Docker as well. That will also be covered up in our session. Mock interviews, resume preparation, and interview questions will also be covered over here. When I talk about mock interviews, that means after the course completion, if anyone is interested over here before going for any interviews, if you would like to evaluate yourself, you can come back to us and I'll be taking your interviews to give you the feedback, what you have to answer, what kind of questions or what kind of answers that you have to frame, and what generally the interviewer will be expecting in terms of an interview. I'm working in so and so organization, but I have taken more than 500 interviews on different organization inside the market. I have taken more than 500 interviews on Playwright test automation till date inside different or various organizations. I know what interviewer expects from the candidate and what other interviewer expects from the candidate. So I have prepared a list of questions that you'll also be getting over here. I prepared a different list of questions which will include the theoretical part of the Playwright, practical part of the Playwright, as well as the programming interview questions, which you will also be getting access going forward in our session. So if I just give you a glimpse of what I'm talking over here, you'll be getting the drive access over here inside our session, which will be covering up Playwright, the complete documentation of the Playwright, along with all the details of the Playwright. Plus, you'll get an interview questions that you can see over here. I have prepared a lot of interview questions along with the answers. Plus, if you go to the JavaScript document over here inside this, you'll be getting a JavaScript coding interviews. And there you will see like 100 from the code one, from the code one to the last one, which you'll be getting as the code 100. That means I have prepared all the exhaustive list of the questions that generally used to be, generally have been asked in the interviews for Playwright, JavaScript, and TypeScript whenever you go through with the questions. The main important questions have been categorized from the code 1 to code 25. If you just prepare those will be enough to crack the interviews. And I guarantee it, if you just prepare those things along with the practice, whatever you go through in our session, will definitely make you easy in terms of cracking the interviews. Resume preparation, you might have just seen inside the drive folder, and interview questions that I was talking about will also be shared with you people. One-on-one mentorship and any doubt support, if there will be any kind of doubt will be there. Let's say you start working inside any of the organization and you have some kind of difficulties, like you can again reach back to us or you can directly reach back to me. You'll also be getting the support over there. Placement assistance with referral and guidance. We do not have any project or something that we can directly hire the people, but we have many connections between the clients, between the organizations where they used to post us the job, and there we used to refer the candidates by going through with their skills and all. And after that, you'll also be getting the certification over here in terms of the in terms of after completion of the course. So these are few of the benefit that you will be seeing, but after that, like once you start working on like the JavaScript Playwright, you'll come to know what are the different benefits that we have inside. These are the major benefit that you'll be going through in our sessions. I'll pause for a minute over here to see if you have any questions related to this.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. See,
No
actually, I'm
worries.
a. How does it benefit for a manual tester? I mean, I have 12 years of experience currently as a Scrum Master. I'm working. So, how can I upgrade this to this skill and add a value to my resume?
Right. So that basically I'll be covering up over here inside This questions. Why should you learn Playwright? So your questions will be answered over there. So I'll just request you to wait for a couple of more minutes and probably I'll answer
Okay.
your questions. Okay.
And this class is for 40 hours. You told, so it will be like Monday to Friday, or weekends, or how it is.
Yes, all the things you'll be getting over here inside the course duration. 40 hours of session, daily 1 hour, Monday to
Okay.
Friday, 8 p.m. IST.
Okay.
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 So I've collected all the questions from my previous batches experience and I've given inside this. So you'll mostly all the questions will be resolved over there itself. But if there will be any kind of questions, I'll definitely do and we'll be happy to answer. But just give me like 5 to 10 minutes more. We'll complete this agenda and I'll give like 30 minutes of time to ask any questions that you have. But meanwhile, if any
Okay.
questions, as you have asked, like anyone, if you have any enthusiastic towards understanding, you can also ask. But just wanted to show you that these are the agenda once again. So probably if you have questions related to this, that feel free to wait for like 10-15 minutes and we'll be getting. One is course content that I'm just going through. Who can enroll? Any prerequisite? Playwright related, why should you learn this or what will be the benefit of this? What will you learn after course? Course duration, why Playwright? These will be answered in the session itself, whatever the document that I'm going through over here. And later, if you have any other questions as well, I'll be happy to answer. Okay, now let's go back to understand the few of the, again, things that we have in our session over here is, let me just do course content. The main important is the course content that we have to check in terms of our complete like Playwright and JavaScript over here. So let's go to a course content over here and see what are the things that will be covering up in general. So first thing that will come up inside the course content is in the initial stage, initial stage of our session, we'll be going through with the fundamentals of JavaScript. That means complete basic level of JavaScript where we'll understand what is JavaScript, how do we install whatever the installation that we have to do. We'll go through with that. What is variables, data types, statements, operators, loops, functions, arrays, object, classes, and various other things that will come. So basic level comes with variables. How do we declare? How do we start declaration? What is the use of data types? What are the types of the data that we used to have in general? Statements, that means some kind of conditions, looping concept, functions. And after that, after going through with the looping concept, we'll go to the advanced level of JavaScript where we'll see like how do we write a different types of functions, how do we create an object, array, string, arrow function, and then one concept known as async and await in terms of JavaScript, which will be helpful for us in terms of understanding the Playwright going forward. After completion of basic to advanced level of JavaScript, we'll move towards understanding of a Playwright, which will again be completely from the basic onward, where we'll see first the introduction, what are the different benefits that we have, installation, what are all the things that we have to install to work with Playwright, and then after creation of a Playwright framework, yes, Playwright is also a framework. Playwright is not only a tool, it is also a framework. What does that mean? We'll come to know in other sessions. We'll see like how do we create a project, how do we install dependencies, async await concept that I was just talking about inside the JavaScript. We'll also understand inside the Playwright. We'll understand few basic part of the things which we have to understand before we start writing any kind of test case, which is some kind of methods that it has given over here. And then we'll also go for understanding the locators in deep understanding. Various types of locators, which is CSS selector, XPath, and Playwright specific locators will be covered over here. And then we'll start after completion of a locators. What is locators and all? We'll give you the complete details at the time of sessions. So everything will be covered over here. First, we'll talk about how do we do a manual testing and how do we convert that in terms of automation testing. So you'll get completely from the basic level of understanding. Then we'll go for various things which comes in general in terms of a basic is how do we fill the input, clicking on an element, getting the text, different types of weighting mechanism that we have in terms of Playwright, which is one of the advantage that it has inside the Playwright is Playwright has a auto weighting concept. That means it will automatically wait for an element to load on the page. We do not have to write even a single line of code. I'll talk about inside the advantage. Then we'll go for a basic UI validation, which is used to be a drop-down, radio button, checkbox, multiple windows, alerts, pop-up, different kinds of tools that Playwright has given, dynamic elements, auto-suggestive drop-down, different types of assertions. That means assertions means validation. Whenever you perform something, right? So whenever you, let's say, fill the username, in terms of a manual testing, you visually see that you have filled a username and it have been successfully filled. But our automation code does not have their eyes to see that, right? So we'll see how do we validate whether the username or password that you have filled have really been successfully filled inside the input field or not. Then we'll go for an end-to-end automation scenarios and basic level of understanding of Playwright UI runner. Playwright will also have a runner over here, test runner, which you can utilize to run the test case. And later on, we'll see like how do we handle. Sometimes you'll also be having a handling of a hidden element. That means you perform something, element will be hidden, and validate. How do you validate the hidden element? Alerts or pop-ups, frames handling, handling file uploads and downloads, shadow DOM elements. And with this, basically all the web automation part will be covered along with the calendar and pagination will be covered over here as a part of the web automation. And then we'll go for API basics, which I was just talking about. How do we do the API testing in general in terms of manual testing and automation testing? We'll see it over here. One great advantage that we have in terms of Playwright is, if I talk about a simple Playwright, right? So one advantage that you will generally see, and that people used to get this kind of feature from the Playwright is one that we require login once. What is meant by that is, let's say you have 100 different test cases are available, right? Let's say you have 100 different test cases are available or 1,000 test cases are available inside your system. Probably you will not require to log in every time to check whether login is working or not. Few test case you can write for a login page validation, and then you can move towards validation of different kind of pages or other scenarios that involves. Here, Playwright will help us in skipping the login page as well, and it is much easier in terms of skipping the login page. And this is where Playwright has one advantage. One other advantage that we have is login once, save the authentication state and reuse it. It will bypass the login operation every time whenever you try to launch the test case. That is again a great feature which will save a lot of time in terms of execution. Visual testing, we'll see like how do we take this screenshot, which you'll come to know at the time of benefit of Playwright is Playwright have a benefit that, or the advantage that it automatically take the screenshot of the page. And it also generates automatically the video recording of your test execution as well. I'll show you one example today so that you can understand it. But we'll see like how do we take this screenshot of an element and screenshot of a page. It has also given a capability that if you want to take it by self, you can also do that. And after that, we'll go through a framework generation. So framework will be covered in greater details over here. First, to understand the framework, create it completely from scratch, handling the data using a JSON and Excel, parameterization of your test case for the data-driven testing, project configuration if you have to do any kind of configuration in terms of a framework setup. How do you run the test case in a serial and parallel mode? How do you do a parallel execution of the test case? How do you do the retries automatically? Playwright also helps us in running the same test case multiple times automatically whenever your test case get failed. After that, we'll see like HTML report will automatically be generated by the Playwright. So Playwright is a very lightweight tool. Here we have to do a minimal coding and it will work in a much better way. Minimal coding requires over here. When I say minimal, that doesn't mean like 10% of the other tools and technology. It will be somewhere around 60% of the other tools and technology. Like if you have used Selenium in the past, then if you just make a 60% effort, whatever you have made it, whatever you have given in terms of Selenium would work for Playwright. Later, we'll see how do we generate an LDO reporting. GitHub, it have been missed over here inside this PDF. GitHub will be covered completely from scratch. CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, Docker, GitHub Actions, all the three will be completed over here. And whatever the framework will be generating will implement inside the CI/CD pipeline to see like how does our code work in general inside the organization. Okay. And later, if anyone is also interested in learning the Cucumber framework, we'll also be providing the complete recorded session of Cucumber framework as well over there. Okay, so these will be the complete course content, which will cover up the complete web automation testing, generation of a framework, data-driven testing, getting the data from JSON, Excel, report generation using HTML, LDO report, CI/CD pipeline, GitHub, Docker, and other things will be covered up as a part of the course content over here. So this will be basically a course content that we have just gone through and will be covered up as a part of the Playwright using JavaScript. There was one questions that I had seen, why Playwright using JavaScript? Why not when we have other tools and technology? Yes, so Playwright supports all the major tools, major technology that are available in the market, but famous are JavaScript and TypeScript because it is having a much more compatibility, plus it is very lightweight when you use using JavaScript and TypeScript. When we say a lightweight, that means one command will set up complete framework inside your system. Only one command. You do not have to depend on any other third-party tool where you have to integrate inside your, let's say, if you are using Java, then pom.xml, you have to provide every dependencies that will basically make your dependencies and so on. Here you will see a single command, a 30 seconds of time, and will set up the complete framework of Playwright. Just 30 seconds, and you do not require any other things after that to work with Playwright and Playwright framework. Also, the advantage over here using JavaScript and TypeScript is that Playwright have been developed using JavaScript and TypeScript itself. So the compatibility, which will much and more complex handling of a scenario will become pretty easy over here. Okay, so that was basically a course content. Now the next question that we had is who can enroll and any prerequisite for joining. So who can enroll is in our past sessions, most of the people were manual QA engineers of all the levels. The highest person was like 17 years of experience who came to learn like Playwright. And the lowest were freshers as well from the non-technical background, which is BA, BCom, BSc, BTech, and any other streams as well were there. So anyone who is willing to learn test automation can join it over here. Whoever wants to switch their career from a manual to automation, because we know that there are none or very less job in terms of a market for the manual testing. So whoever wants to switch their career from a manual to automation testing, They can join because effort will be very less over here. Learning will be very easy in terms of if we compare with Selenium. QA of all levels, junior to senior, non-technical background people, freshers and developers. Yes. When I say developers, yes, even developers have joined in our session because they also have to write unit testing. And for that, they have to go with a Playwright. Okay, so they had to go with a Playwright because they were working on JavaScript and TypeScript. So implementation of a Playwright becomes much easier for them. And that's where they have enrolled over here. Any prerequisite? No. Even if you do not have any understanding of the coding, you are welcome to join over here. And I guarantee if you practice it, you will be at the much better good level than the others, like whoever is working, provided you also have to practice. Whatever the assignment, whatever the task that I'll be providing you, if you complete on time, you'll also become the same level of expertise than the other people. So prerequisite is nothing. If you just have a basic understanding of what is testing, would be enough to join the session over here. Now, there was a question like, will Playwright be helpful? Yes. So why should you learn Playwright now rather than waiting for a few months or a year? So these are basic benefits that I have listed out over here, which is like high industry demand for Playwright skill. There are much and huge demand are there for the Playwright. When I talk about a huge demand, that means there are, I have seen like in the market, there are 60% of the job which also includes Playwright inside their job description. So Playwright is growing in the market in a much faster way, in an exponential way. Organizations, most of the organizations are moving towards Playwright because of their capability, because of the advantage, and because of the much faster way of execution than when we compare to Selenium. Okay, high demand, high industry demand for the Playwright skill. There are more number of job openings and less skilled person are there in the market right now. There are more number of jobs like available in the market, and skills are very less. Skilled person are very less. So when you learn it now and go for the interview, ultimately when the demand is more and the supply are less, that means skills are less, your chances of getting into the interviews will be much more higher. Complexity of the interview will be very less because even the interviewer, whoever will be taking your interview, will have maximum of 3 years of experience. So there are not much complexity, not much competition because the skill set are less, demand are more, demand of the Playwright are more. So the interview again will be a less competitive over there. Playwright has much better again feature support like cross-browser testing, modern web application, increasing job opportunity in terms of automation, and also Playwright is coming up with few of the AI supports as well, which makes it future proof guarantee that the Playwright will definitely exist in the market for the next at least 10 years. Okay. Plus, you will, when you have a set of questions that basically been asked in the industries, you can easily crack the interviews. So when you are a manual testing engineer and you are trying to learn some test automation that you have never performed, I would suggest you to go. It's not that you have to join it over here itself. If you are looking for, you can join it over here. I'll show you the testimonial as well from the students, few of the recent people that they have secured the job. Also, I'll show you today. But if you are considering to learn the test automation, I would request you to go for Playwright rather than thinking for any other tools and technology that are available in the market for test automation. Okay. Now move to the next one, which is a course highlight, which we have already gone through in the past over here. So I have explained in details what all the things will be covering. But we'll be covering up over here JavaScript, Playwright, deep understanding of locators, DOM, element to understand, basic API testing using Postman plus Playwright, Page object model completely from scratch, GitHub, CI/CD using Jenkins, GitHub Actions, and Docker. Complete Playwright documentation you'll be getting. Interview preparation, resume preparation will also be taken care, and placement assistance and many more will be you will be going through with the course highlight over here. Now, few basic things that I have given over here in terms of why Playwright versus Cypress and Selenium. So it says that Playwright supports multiple browser, which other tools and technology also support, but it has inbuilt feature. If I try to show you over here an example, let's say I'll just try to show you an example over here. Um, so let's say this one. This is an example that we have. This is basically a Playwright framework over here that we have created. Okay. And when I was talking about support, multiple supports, right? So it also creates a configuration file. And inside this itself, it mentions all the browsers that it supports. You do not have to write any logic, any condition, whatever the browser that it has given over here. If you just enable it, it will start running on those particular browser, whichever browser that you enable inside the configuration file. What is this configuration file? You will also be going through in detail to understand how does it work. Built-in auto wait and powerful debugging. Yes. When we say like auto waiting, that means if you just say, example, this one, this code is basically to handle the multiple windows. And if you see over here inside these lines, we have not written anywhere to wait for an element on the page and then perform some of the actions. We do not have to write those kind of things over here as we try to do in terms of Selenium, because Playwright automatically waits for the elements to be loaded on the page or the elements to be visible on the page. And for that, it will wait by default for 30 seconds. If the element have not loaded on the page, at that point of time, it will wait for 30 seconds to check if the element have loaded or appeared on the page or not. You can also override that, and that capability it has given inside the configuration file that you can also override the default timeout as well. Better parallel testing and faster execution, simple syntax and modern tooling. Better parallel testing means you do not have to again take any help of any third-party tool. You just have to say fully parallel as true, and your test case will start running in a parallel mode. It is a very lightweight tool. It requires just 30 seconds to set up your Playwright framework inside the system. We'll go through in detail regarding the version like Playwright versus Cypress and Playwright versus Selenium, which I have prepared a document. You'll go through in later part of our session. Not today, like some other demo sessions where I'll go through with what are the real-time like differences that we have in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript, for the Playwright. If I just try to show you the document that I was talking about earlier, so these are the documents that we have prepared to share it with you people as well. So if you see inside these documents, we have this documents, right, where I have given in complete detail of what are the advantages, architecture of Selenium versus Playwright, advantage that will again go through sometimes. And then if you see the Cypress versus Playwright in great comparison, plus Selenium versus Playwright in again great comparison with around 20 details that I have given, how does it work and so on. This document that you see on the screen have complete document for Playwright. You will also be getting this document access and will help you to set up everything from scratch, including the installation and other part of the things. Okay. Now let's move to the next part that we have over here, which is what you will basically be at the end of the course. What kind of things that you will be expecting and I would be expecting from you after the end of the courses. Provided you also have to practice, not just listen the session. not just go through with the sessions and recorded sessions. You also have to practice it. And in that case, if you do a practice, if you do this assignment properly, at the end of the session, you will be in a position where you can first show the experience of 6 months to 2 years of experience that you can easily show in terms of your resume. And you can also crack the interview provided you practice it, like however we go through in a session. You'll be in a position where you can automate a real-time test case using Playwright and JavaScript, build a complete real world-class framework that you can basically use it inside your test automation, inside your organization, refine resume and mock interviews preparation. That means you'll be in a position where you can confidently give the interviews. You will also be building a project, that means a complete test automation project inside the GitHub as well, which you can store inside the GitHub so that you can showcase that you have developed completely from scratch. Integration for a Playwright using Jenkins, GitHub Actions, and Docker, you will get complete familiarity with that you can, without any support or independently, you can handle it inside your organization. Okay, now this basically gives you the details of like by the end of the course what you will be learning. And after that, we have a course duration. That means the next question that we have is a course duration is of complete 40-hour session. Daily will be 1 hour. Revise this. Daily will be a 1 hour session, which will be from 8 p.m. IST to 9 p.m. IST. Monday to Friday will be the session over here. 40 hours of session, daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. IST will be the fixed time over here for the course. Okay, so that will generally consist of the complete agenda for our session today. The next one is a question and answer session. Open to your questions. Anything that you have specific to ask, any kind of questions, you can feel free to ask over here. I'll be happy to answer for any questions that you have. Over to you, people. Also, I would request before you ask any questions, I just request if you have not shared your contact number and email, please do so. That will be helpful for us in terms of going through with the sharing you the documents. I just take a couple of minutes
Hi.
to see if I will definitely come back to you. Just give me 30 minutes of time, 30 seconds of time, and I'll come back.
Okay.
So few dots. What if Microsoft changed the license? Is Playwright completely? Yes. Second is Playwright completely W3 standards. What if Microsoft change? This will not be happening because Microsoft basically whatever the product that they have to mention it as a license, they generally used to do in the initial stage itself. And it's been close to 5 years in the market. They are not going to do that in terms of a license because they are also coming up with a feature for mobile automation as well. So they'll be going through with the specific things which is completely free. Why only Playwright? I believe like I have answered this questions. You can also go for Playwright using JavaScript and TypeScript. There will be a slight difference in terms of Playwright using a JavaScript and TypeScript. I'll show you that as well in our session. Then if I check the questions, is Playwright used for applications on mobile also? It has not that capability given for now, but it is in the phase of the development where it will also support the mobile app automation as well. What is the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript? Are we going to cover that as well? So here, generally, if this course have been given for a JavaScript, but if everyone are interested over here for the TypeScript, then I can take main course as a Playwright TypeScript and cover up the JavaScript over here. But I believe like most of you are interested in JavaScript, so I can conduct. But I'll also show you the difference what used to be in terms of JavaScript and TypeScript by writing a code by providing your proof over there. But let's say if everyone are interested over here in terms of learning TypeScript, I can start with TypeScript as well. Can we use Java in place of JavaScript? You can use depending on what you are required over here. But The job market that I have seen in the market, which requires JavaScript and TypeScript, not the Java or Python in the famous. There are 10% available on Java and Python as well, but 90% of the job openings for Playwright, you'll find it on JavaScript and TypeScript. Difference between Selenium versus Playwright, I've just given few of them, and you will also be going through it a lot more in our coming days, and you can also find it inside the document. Please clarify the duration. It's like 40 hour sessions, so 40 days of time. 40 days, which will be Monday to Friday, will be covered over here. Yes, it will be at the same time. Could you please let me know whether you will be helping in installing? Everything will be covered completely from skill. Installation is a part of our course. If we do not install, we'll not be moving towards like moving in like writing the test cases and all. Those things will be covered as a part of the course content. That will be a basic to install. Playwright, Sanjay, I believe you have asked some questions in our group. Playwright, we do not require TestNG to be supported. Playwright does not require any third-party tool. Playwright itself is everything in terms of a tools and framework. Playwright itself is everything over here. So we do not have to depend on any third-party tool. We'll be showing you a real-time project as well. JavaScript is much easier than Playwright. Playwright does not support TestNG. We do not require any third-party tool over here. Help Sanjay. So Playwright does not support TestNG. We do not even require. TestNG is for like when you write your test case inside the Selenium, because Selenium does not support you to write the test case. So you will be taking the help of TestNG. Playwright does not require, because Playwright itself is a framework which will be helpful for us in terms of writing the code. In tomorrow's session, you will see like how do we develop a framework and how do we write the test case over there. Probably you will not be understanding in the initial stage, but let's see like how do we develop the framework in our session tomorrow and how do we write the test case. Though you do not understand, but just see like as a part of demo, how do we go ahead with that. Is there any difference between, there is no paid version at all. I know there is no paid version for Playwright. We do not have any paid version for Playwright. It is completely free of cost. Hmm. How will it handle when we use Playwright? It's much easy. Like we'll show you. Like if you see inside this is a test case. How do we write? By using a test where it is available inside the Playwright itself. By using a test function, we'll be writing the test case. So we do not require any TestNG help over here. Michael, I believe will be helpful really for you to go through with the Playwright. Yes, go ahead. Other people, I'll come to this. Compared to Tosca, Tosca is a paid version. Playwright is free. Is Python supported? Yes, Python supported by the Playwright, JavaScript and TypeScript. Playwright better works with JavaScript and TypeScript. It also works with Java, but works in a much better way with JavaScript and TypeScript. So that's basically about, will Java assistance and certification will be provided? Yes. Compatible with, yes, Anjali Dubey, yes, it is compatible with Salesforce as well. So it will also be able to support. Yes, you will also be getting, as I said, like one-to-one and the support you'll also be getting later on if you get stuck at any point of time inside your organization at the time of developing anything. Now, please go ahead. Any one of you have any kind of questions, feel free to ask. Over to you, people. TypeScript will also be covered over here. I see most of the people are looking for a TypeScript, so TypeScript also I'll cover it.
When
Shadow
is the
DOM
actual
element.
course starting? When is the actual course starting?
So we'll be having 3 demo sessions, and after that we'll be starting our session. Playwright is having another advantage where it supports by default. When I say like by default, it supports shadow DOM elements. There was one question, so I'm talking about shadow DOM elements is by default supported by the Playwrights. You do not have to do any changes over there. Okay, you can go ahead and feel free to ask any questions. any other than that if you have.
So TypeScript also you will cover from scratch, or like what level of like portion you cover for TypeScript?
Right. If that is what I was talking about. If everyone is interested over here in learning the TypeScript, then I'll be starting both TypeScript and JavaScript completely from scratch. Okay. Any other
One more
question?
doubt, Senthil
Yes.
Kumar here.
Yes.
Yeah. Why JavaScript and TypeScript are being most wanted requirement now, all of a sudden,
So
with
if you
Playwright?
see, right, if you see for the Playwright, because Playwright have been developed using a JavaScript and TypeScript, and when you work with a JavaScript and TypeScript, your framework setup and installation become much lightweight. Much lightweight means you do not have to
Okay.
like store anything inside your framework. When we talk about storing,
Hmm.
that means you do not have to create form.xml that you create inside the Java. It just works with a single command. I think I have already showed you earlier, but if you just check this particular document that you have, how do you install the Playwright? So Playwright installation is one word over here, using init command. That's it, using init command. And how
Yes,
do we do that?
correct.
npm init Playwright. That's it. Everything will be set up within 30 seconds.
Okay.
Within 30
Hmm.
seconds.
Is it something
Whereas
like
if
we are building an application on the native platform?
right, yes,
Okay, okay, got it.
right. So it's completely lightweight when you compare with other tools and technology.
Hmm, got it. Thanks.
Right. In
I have a question.
yes.
I have been using Java in the past, and I have no experience in JavaScript and TypeScript. So would I be able to go ahead and like attend this and understand, or do you think I should take extra classes for JavaScript or TypeScript as well?
Okay. So if I understood your question correctly, you have been working on Java in the past.
Yeah. Yes.
Then it will be much easier to learn TypeScript and JavaScript over here. You do not have to attend any session. If you
Okay.
already know Java, then that will be just a 40% effort to learn JavaScript.
Okay.
Just
So
40%.
the syntaxes and everything are like similar to Java, or
50% will be similar,
okay.
which will be like similar to the other programming language. When I talk about going through with uh, variables, data types, statements, loops, and functions, usually will be almost similar inside every tools and every technologies, right? So 50% of the things will be covered from there. Other 50% of the things you'll understand it easier if you have understanding of Java. So you do not have to learn anything from the outside. Everything will be covered over here in our session.
Okay. And this is what is the duration of this course?
Total total is 40 hours, which includes uh, let's say if you go for TypeScript and JavaScript, then both, and then plus Playwright.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
Right, great.
Praveen, this is Sanjay. I just wrote
Yes.
my question. For duration of the course, we'll be installing on our Windows machine. But when we go to work, I mean, when we want to use it in the real environment, I mean, in our jobs, then mostly people prefer Linux because Linux environment becomes shareable across the team. So I am assuming that it is also supported for Linux. Can you confirm that?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So whatever the things that we'll be learning over here will be irrespective of any operating system that you use. Even the installation includes the same command for all the tools, all the operating system that you use.
Great. Thanks, Praveen.
Yeah,
Great.
Praveen, one question my side. So, does it support desktop applications like SAP or any other ones?
So desktop application is not basically being supported. This will currently have this basically Playwright has currently ability of performing complete for web automation as well as API. APM is in the progress. APM, when I say like mobile automation, is in the progress. But desktop, it has not been given the fully support, whereas few things that it comes in terms of a test automation will be supported, but complete part of the desktop support, it has not been given over here in terms of Playwright.
Okay.
Right. Any other question from anyone else over here? Anything you can ask it. Whatever the doubt that you have, you can feel free to ask over here.
30 years.
Yes, please.
During this course, actually, we will be creating the framework from the scratch, and also we will be touch upon, because I want to maintain some kind of a Git repository just to showcase for the interviews.
Yes.
So, will it be part of this class sessions?
Yes. Yes. So that will again be covered from the scratch, where we'll be going through with first creating of a framework will be from scratch. Few of the test cases will be creating in our course. Few of the test cases you will be creating as a part of the capstone project, which you have to complete, and that you can like keep it inside the GitHub. So GitHub will also be learning over here completely again from scratch as we go for a freshers level. We'll be understanding in that way, and you can also like post that as your project that you have worked on.
Okay, and another question, I have experience of more than 11 plus years of experience in automation. I've used multiple things like Cloud, GitHub Actions, Jenkins, and Java, and even I used Jasmine framework, Productive Jasmine framework. So just want to know, what is the level of training will be there, because I am looking for something like architect level. So that's main motto of my training session. So how it will be useful in that sense.
Right, right. So first thing that you'll be going from a completely basic level. Second, once you understand how do you design something, how do you design a framework, how do you start writing the script, there you will also be understanding the complete level of the architecture that you have to follow in terms of designing anything, understanding Playwright, what is the architecture over there, and architecture of a designing of a framework, what you have to consider, what not, what all the things will appear in terms of the test automation as a part of CA. You will also be you will be understanding over here as a part of the course content. Second thing, when you said that you have already experience on some other tools and technology, that given that it will become much more easier for you to understand and go through with the Playwright. So those level of it will not only be a basic things, advanced level of the things will also be covered over here. That how do you utilize different URLs whenever you have, let's say, I have been teaching in various institute earlier, and I have seen like what they used to ask is to cover up one particular, let's say you have staging environment you will be working on. But what if in the real time scenario when you have multiple environments, how will you run the same test case inside the multiples? How will you design the architecture? How will you design those logics and all will be covered over here inside our session as well.
Sure.
So so
Yeah,
this
before,
this
yeah.
will be right. This will be something that you will generally be working on the real time. Those kind of things will be covered over here.
Okay, thanks. I'm kind of more interested on the advanced levels, I do understand experts and all these things is more important, but still I was more interested about the advanced technologies. As you said, right? I do have experience in running in multiple environments, staging or dev or AWS or cloud, Azure and GCP. So I worked in multi-cloud architecture too. So it will be great sections if we go through the things. Yeah.
Right, right. Also,
So do you think the sections will be enough for the advanced level also, right? That's what my main question is all about.
yes, should be, should be. So if you see, I do have like some things over here which the people have recently gone through in the interviews. If you see over here, there are peoples who have no knowledge and they have got 120% with a CTC of 29 lakhs. Some have got like 34 lakhs. Some have this one. This one I would like to highlight. He's from Kerala. His name is Ahmad. He was having no prior experience. He was not getting job from the last 1 years on the manual testing. He had just taken the coaching, and in his first interview itself, he's basically writing in his own word that he has been able to crack the interviews. Few of the again interviews over here from the people. These are I have taken just who has gotten more than 25 LPA CTC over here. Apart from that, there are a lot. This person, if you see, was again completely working on manual testing, had zero knowledge on test automation. And if you see over here, he's mentioning like 6 companies he was able to crack, including the PwC. Okay, so these kind of things will be covered, and that is where I assure people that you will definitely be getting a job, provided you also have to practice. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention over here, that most of you are experienced over here, so you might also be knowing. But Playwright basically becoming mandatory nowadays. It is not something like an optional part, because the organization are moving and migrating the Playwright from basically Selenium to Playwright. So nowadays, for the test automation people, it becomes mandatory to learn Playwright by using any of the tools and technology, because it has also given a flexibility that you can automate on any of the tools and technology, any of the languages as well. So it gives a powerful competition for the other tools and technology. And that's where I said, like, it becomes mandatory for the people to learn it. Either you learn it today or you learn it after 6 months or a year. You will have to learn this Playwright in terms of the web automation as well as API.
Okay.
Yes.
One final question. Yeah. Just want to know, like, do you have any job reference kind of thing? Not like I don't want a job guarantee kind of thing, but job reference.
We do
Do
have.
you be getting anything as
We do
such?
have. Yes. Yes. Placement guidance and referrals will be provided over there. We have a tie-up with the companies, not tie-up something like get the student, but whenever they get the interviews, they used to keep us posted. So we used to refer them over there.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Any other question for now? You can also ask in the group. I am also available in the group, whichever group you are in. So you can feel free to ask. You will be getting over my name as well as a Praveen over there. So you can feel free to ask the questions, whatever you have, and I'll also be able to answer over there.
Praveen, this is Sindhu. One more question here. So
Yes.
I have a 2 different technologies in my career. So five years experience with Java and 5 years experience with core language. So now I'm looking for a job change. So will I get in some help and assistance?
You will definitely get that.
Thanks a lot. I'm looking for a
You
job for almost 1.5 years. Maybe I will ping you separately. Thank you.
definitely. And also, like, people can note it down. Whatever I've spoken over here, you can also note it down. It is not something that I'm just speaking anything inside the demo. At the end of the course, you can compare whatever I've talked about today, and at the end of the course, and you can compare and come back to me saying that,
Sure.
okay, you did not cover this, or what are the other things that you have left out things. So you'll definitely be getting whatever I have promised over here. You will be getting at the end of the course will be completely available as a part of the course.
Thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
more confidence. Thank you.
Right. Great. So I will stop the session over here. And as a part of our again demo 2 session, we will be going through tomorrow again. The next 2 session will be a demo. So I'll just pick up a random. Tomorrow we'll see like how do we create a framework using Playwright TypeScript over here. And there you might not understand, or whoever have worked, they will be able to understand the things. But you'll also see like how do we write the test cases and how do we create a framework. Whoever do not understand, do not worry. That will be just a part of the course content as a part of the demo. And once we go through with it, you will understand in a greater detail over there. Okay. So with that, yes.
So we just a small request before we end. You told us that towards the end of the course you'll be sharing all the contents. Is it possible that for day two you share the content of day two so that we can go over it and because in 4 days then I mean it goes in the back of your memory. If it is current, it's easy to go over it and kind of revise. So that will be really helpful if you can do that. It's just a
So
request.
for
I
the
know you are.
definitely. So for the demo part, I'll just picking up few of the concept. Whereas once we start our main session, you'll be getting this schedule as well, which you can
Oh,
refer it, which
yeah.
will include a day one, day two, day three, what all the things
Thank
will be
thank
covering
you.
up over here
I know
in
I'm
detail.
asking for too much, but you have been so kind. So that will really help us if we get the same day
Definitely,
content and we can
definitely,
go over it in a time. So that becomes easy to learn the thing. Thank you.
definitely, definitely. You'll be getting day-wide schedule so that you can refer it over there as well.
Thank you.
Great. Okay.
I have one
Yes.
question, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Is it required to know Selenium if we learning Playwright?
There is no prerequisite. You do not need to have any prerequisite over here. If you know any other tools and technology, well and good. If you do not know, that is also well and good. So there is no prerequisite that you have to understand so and so things to join the session. Okay, great. Okay, so I'll stop the session over here. I would also request you people to post any kind of questions if you have inside that group, and I'll also be able to answer there. I'll happy to answer over there as well. Okay. With this, thanks a lot, and we'll